Hello and welcome to Sport This Morning. I'm Cecilia Amogbe.
I'm Ty Salam. It's great to have you join us again. All right, this is what the show looks like. We're going to be previewing match day 2 of the Nigerian Professional Football League later today. So matches will be going down across various centers across the country.
Absolutely, today, and also some games will also be decided
tomorrow.
And you'll be having the big one, which is Nasarawa Amazons and also Bayelsa Queens. That's the one everyone is looking forward to, because you have the league champions and also the ITO Cup champions. All right, also on the program, basketball is coming to Lagos. Yes, this is my home, and we're talking about the African Basketball League. One of the centers that will be used will definitely be in Lagos.
Fantastic news for basketball fans. We're going to get to see the best of basketball on the continent starting March 2020. I can't wait for that one to start. So congratulations to Lagos State. The inaugural edition of the Basketball African League. Lagos will get to host one of the regular season games. Also on the show this time in boxing, where there's bad news for Dillian White. That's because he's been stripped and provisionally suspended as the interim heavyweight champion for the WBC after a sample taken from him returned an adverse analytical finding. So, Celia, the last time we talked about this guy, we said a lot of denials. Denials coming from Dillian White. Denials coming from Eddie Hearn as well, to his promoter. But I just knew something was up.
Wrong.
Exactly. And now we finally have the true situation, the true picture of the situation, which is he failed a drugs test.
Absolutely, and he's still denying it. He says
he's still denying it.
Of course, there's a mistake somewhere and everything. He will try as much as possible to prove his innocence. But then in the meantime, I mean, this guy has been stripped of this particular title. He won. And
this bout was ahead of this particular bout, we're saying, against Oscar Rivers.
And you asked the question, why was this bout allowed to go on when this actually happened?
I don't know.
According to the story, they were contacted and all that, but then they allowed the bout to go on. Maybe they were doubting it and all.
No.
But right now, I think after maybe they had to, do some investigations and all that. So after that, and they decided that, okay, in the meantime, you've been stripped of this title. Another thing is they've given them the opportunity to actually come up with whatever case they want to come on. While they are having their own investigation and all that, when they come, they will have to, check and see. But if he's found guilty, I think this guy will be out for like 8 years. Remember what happened in 2012? He was banned before.
Right.
So if it happened again?
Yeah. I mean, it is strange that they allowed him to fight. They were both cleared to fight, at the O2. That was a few weeks ago. And I don't know why they've done that. But we're back to the normal situation now where he's actually failed a drugs test. And he's going to have to pay somehow, some way. And we don't know for sure yet because, like I said, it's just the A sample. You always have the chance to do another one or whatever defense is going to come up with to get out of this situation. But as it is right now, after waiting and being the #1 challenger for the WBC heavyweight title for over 600 days, it was #1 ranked and finally got a shot to take on either Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder. And now that chance is gone, at least provisionally, until he's able to prove his innocence. And you mentioned the fact already that this is going to be the second time. First time out, he said it was unknowingly, right?
Unknowingly,
but unfortunately, WADA, VADA, and all these anti-doping authorities operate by strict liability policy. There's no excuse for ever going into your system. You're solely liable.
Responsible.
Exactly. So except the ban then is back, and a lot of people are starting to root for him. Austin is a big fan of Dillian White. And,
how is he feeling right now? Knowing that
I remember when he finally got the shot to take on either Wilder or Tyson Fury. Austin was ecstatic, but imagine how he's taking this news now. Of course, very, very disappointed. And that's the WBC statement on Dillian White. Cillian.
Yeah, it says an A sample coming from, that's UK. Collected from Mr. Dillian White in relation with his bout against Oscar Rivers yielded an adverse finding. So as a result, in light of that adverse finding and pending the outcome of WBC-owned investigation, WBC is provisionally stripping Dillian White of his interim world heavyweight champion and mandatory title of the bout. So the WBC has notified Mr. White and his team of this suspension and will afford Mr. White the opportunity to present its position at an investigative hearing, which will take place at a place and time to be announced in the near future.
Right.
So time and place is yet to be known. But the thing is, he's been provisionally suspended, but will be allowed to actually present his case. And hearing will definitely take place in the near future.
Of course, the WBC, they're a fair body. And if you feel somehow that there's something wrong and you're innocent, you have to prove it somehow. And it's going to be very, very difficult, though. I mean, with the evidence that we have on ground and all that. As a matter of fact, we hear is actually two metabolites of a particularly banned substance that was found in the system. We just wait, but it's a shame, bro. It's a shame. It's a shame. Right now, the build-up should start for White taking on Wilder. And
May 18 next year.
Next year, right? The build-up should start now. We should start looking forward to it. All of a sudden, look at what we're talking about. We're talking about.
Is there really something wrong? Deontay Wilder not getting to fight the big boys and all that? I mean, Tyson Fury rematch was supposed to happen, caught up something.
What has that got to do with Wilder? It doesn't have anything to do with Wilder.
I'm like, okay, something not just right.
Are they scared of Wilder? No,
they're not. Like put two things together. But I hope just maybe he's been given an opportunity to prove himself. Just maybe this when B Simple's returning. But I don't think so.
What B Simple?
I will just wait and see. Provisionally suspended, so he's still in it. I mean, just prove that they're wrong and you're actually on the right, and he'll be allowed to fight. Okay, let's leave this one now. Talk about one person that will not or may not be at the World Championships in Qatar later this year. That's in September, talking about Caster Semenya. She's actually disappointed that she won't be able to defend 800 meters title that she won in 2017, simply because, well, the Swiss court ruling, they've actually, blocked the opportunity in the sense that she actually appealed. I mean, that was the second appeal she was doing. At a point, we were really happy, when it was provisionally suspended and all that, they were looking into her situation. But right now, okay.
I remember at that time I said that was just a temporary relief. So let's not get too carried away, because you knew the IAAF were going to strike back. And that's exactly what they've done. They've got the, a Swiss court judge to overturn that particular ruling that allowed Caster Semenya to race, in a preferred event, which is 800 meters. But as it is right now,
500.
Yeah, I mean, 800 really. That's where she's the world champion, and that's the race where she's practically unbeaten for a whole number of years now. So as it is right now, Caster Semenya, if she wants to compete at the World Championships, will have to actually switch
3,000 or
exactly.
5,000.
She's going to have to race in races above a mile, right? So she can't do 400 to a mile. So anything above that, she could do that. That's an option for her. But from her body language and everything, I don't think she wants to do that. She knows where she's exactly what she's good at. Her strength, which is 800 meters. And as it is right now, because of a situation, athletes with differences of sexual development are not allowed to participate in those events unless they take testosterone suppressing medication. So that's the situation right now. And Caster Semenya is obviously disappointed, like Cecilia said, and she says, I am very disappointed to be kept from defending my hard-earned title, but this will not deter me from continuing my fight for the human rights of all the female athletes confirmed. The IAAF insists they're doing the right thing. They need to protect the integrity of the sport. They need to make sure she doesn't have undue advantage over the other female athletes because of her natural condition. But she's insisting, this is the way I was born. Why not let me, be and run just the way I was born? But from the other angle, it's an advantage. It is an advantage, even though that's how she came to life with it. So it's a very tricky situation.
It is tricky. I mean, because while she was saying that she's disappointed because they actually kind of, how do I put it now? Maybe violating our own
human rights,
and all that. IAAF is actually saying, as you mentioned earlier, that look, even these other athletes are also talking about that.
Exactly.
So because they want that gender equality, that's the reason they had to say, look, I mean, you have undue advantage over these other women. Why not step up your game? Either you're going to take drugs to actually reduce the level
Correct.
of testosterone, or you have to start, racing 3,000 or 5,000 meters, because you can do the 400, 800, or even the 1,500, because that's from 400 to a mile.
Yeah.
So that's really a bit tricky. But then I actually, I pity some of these athletes who are actually in this particular situation. So what they have to do is to see how they can step up, because I know most of them wouldn't want to take drugs at all to actually suppress what they are naturally born
producing.
with.
Exactly.
So it's going to be very, very difficult, because you don't even know the kind of hormonal drugs you're going to be taking.
I don't know the side effects.
There's
a lot.
Take a whole lot. So what they have to, I think the easier way for some of these athletes, because she's not alone, there's so many.
So, yeah,
have some
well, she's a
Kenya,
poster girl.
She's a poster girl of it.
So
the only thing is just to see how they can, step up and see if they can, start racing 5,000, 3,000.
Interesting. This is going to rumble on. From her
time,
statement, she said she's not being deterred.
Precisely.
She's going to keep
The
fighting.
lawyer was already saying
And the appeal is still there as well.
Still on.
So,
But in the meantime, she would not be at the World Championship. So maybe we're going to get another winner in Qatar.
South Africans are pissed right now because that's a short bunker gold medal.
Two
for
gold
them.
medal. It could just be 400 and 800, and that's it. So usually, and she will tell you that 400 is not my specialty.
Dear.
It's actually 800. But anytime she's right there, she always win. Let's leave these issues of court cases and also suspension.
Let's go to the real action.
Yeah.